Hello everyone, and with any luck, this is working. I've just turned on the live stream here, and I'm just trying to check on my computer, my own computer, whether it's working or not. Can anyone see this? Where are we at? Probably shouldn't have done that. Okay, trying to go on. Hello everyone, this is a second test that I'm doing here. I'm attempting to get all this equipment working, and it's not loving me for it. It says we're live. Okay. Can anyone hear me? Is there anyone there? Yeah, 5 people watching. Hello. Can anyone hear me? Testing. Hi guys, I'm going to make the assumption that you guys can hear me. Oh, good, excellent. Okay, awesome. Thank you, Jordan. Much appreciated. So, if your screen is anything like mine, you can't really see anything outside of sort of there and there, right? I mean, like that's the limit of what you guys can see. So I'm gonna have to be a little bit creative with this because the camera that I'm looking at shows a lot more. So, okay, I'm gonna have to be a bit creative with this. So what I've done here is I've quickly just set up all of the cards that I'm going to use. And I'm just going to talk quickly through, actually, thank you very much for being here, Jordan, because I was just about to answer the question you asked me earlier. So the first deck here is the Champion of Earth core deck. This is my pack, so it's a bit worn, but this is the core deck. It's got 108 cards in it, and it contains the share of the monsters, aliens, and undead that I'm going to attempt to defeat today. I've actually used this a number of times, so they're all shuffled. It's also, of course, got the rules in it for gameplay, which I'm just going to put on one side because I know those. And it's got 6 characters for play. These 6 here, and it's got obviously all of the standard equipment that you would expect to see in the game. So the second deck that I've got here is the Kickstarter Expansion Deck. This one has a variety of aliens, creatures, and undead, which I'm actually going to shuffle into this deck in a moment. It's also got a 7th player character, the little girl, who is herself. So that allows you to play with the extra character there. That's the box that this comes with. And then finally, I've got the equipment cards here, which there are some different equipment cards for the Kickstarter Expansion Deck, notably the Medic, which lets you heal yourself. So I'm going to be using these today. I'm just mixing them up a bit so they aren't all in order for when I shuffle them into the equipment deck. Well, I'll put them there for a minute. So then finally, I've got the brand new stuff, the robots, which are also a little bit shuffled up, which I did a little bit earlier. And the robots deck that I went through in the Kickstarter Live before this one. So I'm going to shuffle those into the monsters here. And then I've got the new equipment, which I also went through in the Kickstarter Live. And again, I've failed to mix that one up, but it's going to get mixed in quite thoroughly anyway. Finally, I've got the brand new character, which you can play as for the new deck. And I'm actually going to play as Helena, the Renegade Cyborg, in this Livecast. I thought that would be quite fun. Right, so I'm a bit restrained on the space front, but here she is over here, and she'll stick there for as long as she remains alive. So I'm very quickly, and Jordan was asking, how do you combine the cards? Well, I'm very quickly just going to literally just shuffle them in. And I will attempt to reach over here in order to do it. So if I screw it up, it's not my fault. It's the camera's fault. Okay, just so everyone knows. But yeah, I'm literally just shuffling these in. I want to get a reasonably even distribution of robots with the other things. Obviously, you can already see, you can tell from the card back what kind of card it is. So I'm going to know very quickly when I come across robots. And while I'm playing this through, I'll obviously make sure to shout out anything of interest. We've got a bit of a clump of robots in here. I'm just going to separate those out and put them in randomly through the deck before I shuffle it up one more time. So just shuffling stuff together. Obviously, if you keep your deck ready shuffled, as I actually do for the core deck, you never have too much problem with getting set up. All it needs is a quick shuffle after your last game, because they've all come through in an unordered manner. The game itself doesn't particularly order the monsters or the equipment, so you really have a bit of choice about how you do that. And fortunately, this is still just about the right size to do one of these kind of shuffles. So I hope I'm not getting too annoying. I'm just shuffling is not the most exciting thing in the universe, and I did want to make sure that you guys observed that I'd shuffled these properly, so I'm not cheating. Because I do suspect I'm going to lose, just for the record. This game is, like a lot of card games that you come across, quite hard to win solo. Much easier to win when you're playing with other people, but when you're solo, you want to have a nice lot of challenge. So that's kind of what I went for. I reckon this is now pretty reasonably well shuffled. It's got I don't know if you can see that on the camera. No, not really. But it's got a decent distribution of card edges there. So I'm just going to do very quickly the same with the equipment. Just shuffle those in. Oh, that part's a bit large. Sorry, just being slightly butterfingered. I hope everyone's enjoying watching me shuffle. I see we've actually had a few new people join. Hello. Welcome to my desperate defense of the Earth, where I will be attempting to be vaguely coordinated in shuffling and dealing, and actually will attempt to play the game in a way that does represent it reasonably well. For those people who are watching, I am keeping an eye on the old chat window, so feel free to say hello or ask any questions or anything else that comes up. Just yell. Okay, I think one more shuffle and we're there. Okay, so these are now very nicely shuffled together. Well, the arc gun's been on the bottom for a little while, so I'll stick it in the middle. All right, there we go. Okay, so just at the very top of the camera here, we have what is referred to on the instructions. I'm just looking for my play table diagram for you guys. Here we are. Yeah. Okay, so on the instructions here, and you really can't read that at all, can you? That is called the cave. That's this pile here of the monsters. And this one here is called the store. This one here is called the store. That is the equipment deck, if you like. So my next thing is, obviously, I've chosen a character already. That's Helena, the renegade cyborg, who is going to stand against her brethren and defend the Earth. So it is now the very beginning of my first turn. Well, sorry, before the beginning of my first turn, at the start of the game, everyone is dealt one equipment. So I'm going to put this face up for you guys. This is, goodness, I really hope this is coming through better for you guys than it is for me, because it's totally unreadable, but it's a 3. Oh, that's better. And that's worse. Okay, I hope you guys can see that. It's the illegal power line tap that I've drawn here, which has a special ability. It has the ability to cause a stun on any monster it does not kill. So I'm going to stick this down here, and this is my starting card. And now it's the first turn. So in each turn in this game, you choose whether you will draw 1, 2, or 3 enemies in order to fight them. And I'm going to start with 3. Unless you have more than 5 on the table, you don't have to fight. So I'm going to draw 3. And I get the same number of equipment cards drawn as well. So let's have a look at these together. First, I've got the Special Forces Commando unit. That's an 8. It's nice and powerful. It doesn't have any special abilities. But it's a nice, powerful card. Next, I've got the Orbital Laser Pointer, which is part of the Robots deck. It's just a level 1, but good for finishing things off. And finally, I have the Sight-to-Sight Teleport, which may come in very handy. It's pretty unique among the deck. It has the ability for me to look at the top 3 cards of the cave, which is the monster deck here. And I can rearrange them in any order that I like. So, with these cards in mind, I'm going to attempt to fight 2 of them, because I figure an 8 will defeat something, and a 3 with a stun will either defeat or stop anything else I come across. So, the first thing I've come across is a reanimated rabid ferret. That's from the Kickstarter Expansions deck, as you may have actually been able to see from the back of the card there. So it's an undead, and it's a level 3. And then the second one here is a wounded soldier. So basically, so far so good. I've apparently got 2 cards that I can indeed defeat. So I'm going to play my illegal power line tap on the reanimated rabid ferret, which will kill it. And I will play the Special Forces Commando unit on the wounded soldier, which will also kill it. So these 2 get discarded. They go away into the equipment discard pile. These 2 get taken away by me, and they are my victory points in inverted commas. So as time goes on, and if you play with multiple people, then the person with the most corpses at the end is the winner. So that leaves me just the one card face down, which I didn't fight. And obviously, as I'm playing alone, it's back to my turn again. So I'm now going to draw 3 new cards. 1, 2, 3. Ooh. Running out of space here, unfortunately. So Helena's gone off the edge. Once again, I draw 1, 2, 3 new equipment cards. Oh dear. Well, this isn't going well. Now I missed something that I should have done a bit more carefully. These cards were actually played in the opposite order, and it does matter in some cases. So the illegal power line tap was played on the Rabid Ferret, which was left, and the Special Forces Commando unit was played on the second card there. So what I've drawn is I've drawn the handgun, which has no special abilities. I've drawn the binoculars, which is a 1 with a special ability that I can turn over the first face-down card of the oncoming horde. And finally, I have the Martian Pants, which allow me to exchange this card for the top card of the discard pile, which is the reason that I mentioned it was very important to note. Now, I have some fairly weak cards here, and if I turn over something that I can't handle, I'm in a bit of trouble. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm first going to play the Martian Pants. So that's going to let me exchange this card with this card, switch it back out. The Martian Pants is a bit of a self-reference. It's a reference to Ira the Empowered and a character named Forethought, or Martian Pants Man, possesses these Martian pants. Go away and read that if you're curious. Next, I'm actually going to play it safe. And I don't often do this, but I'm going to play the binoculars. So I'm going to have a look at what the first face-down card is, and it's a Manananggal. That's a level 5 enemy, which is quite powerful, to be honest. And I'm a little bit worried that I might not be able to just instantly defeat it. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pass this turn. Now, you do not have to draw, you do not have to fight if there are less than 5 creatures down. So, 5 monsters down, I should say. And because I'm about to draw some more enemies, I'm actually going to move these a bit so I can put another row in, although the other row isn't all that interesting. You know what? I'm going to reclaim some real estate. Sorry. The decks have... Ooh, and there goes the camera. The decks have gone off the top. They are still up there, but just off the camera. And I'm now going to pass because I do not have to fight. There are only 4 creatures, aliens, and undead. Also, robots obviously count as well. And I'm going to draw 3 new cards. Now, this changes the situation entirely. Sorry. So now I have a creature, an undead, and a robot. Let's see what I've got. Oh, I wasn't supposed to look at what I've got. So that is a creature, an undead, and a robot. Once again, I draw 3 cards. I will endeavor to continue to try not to cheat. Okay, next. So I have the Bacteria. This is one of the most powerful cards in the game. It lets me instantly destroy all aliens which are in the oncoming horde. That's this group here. Second, I've got the truck full of gas canisters. That's also extremely powerful. Has a special ability that actually removes the special ability from any creature that you come across. And finally, I have the Godsend for all robots. This is the 3 laws. And it stuns all the robots in the oncoming horde. Nice little Asimov reference there. I still don't have a lot of firepower, but because I have more than 5 cards down, I have 7, I have to fight. So I'm actually going to take a risk and fight 4. Ooh. So I have the Green Eyes Chartreuse Dragon, I have the Soldier, and I have the UFO. Goodness. That's a lot of enemies. Fortunately, I do have just about enough to defeat them if I'm a bit careful with the way I manage my hand. So here we go. I have the truck full of gas canisters, which I'm playing on the Mananang Gal. It's a bit of a waste of its special ability, but it is also a level 5. So this one is an ore. That means I can only use the damage, or I can use the special ability, and I've just used the damage. So the Mananang Gal is killed. Next, I have the Special Forces Commando Unit, which is an 8, as you guys might remember, to kill the 6. Now, I only have 1s and 2s and 0s left now in my hand, but fortunately, I am holding the bacteria, as you guys know. So I'm going to play the bacteria, and that instantly kills all of the aliens in the oncoming horde. So I've managed to save myself, barely, from this onslaught of various nasties. And I'm back down to 3 cards face down. So I'm once again going to draw 3 cards this turn. 1, 2, I've just moved all these up. 3. And 3 equipment cards. 1, 2, 3. Ooh, 3. So this time what I've got the pen, which is level 3. And if I last long enough to get the sword, you will notice that the pen is in fact mightier than the sword. Secondly, you will notice the clothes, boots, and motorcycle, which is just a plain level 2. And finally, I have the katana, which is a solid level 4. Oh dear, things are not looking too good, champions. Right. I'm going to fight 2, because if I just sit back and do nothing, I'm going to end up swamped in creatures. I can't afford that. So, oh dear, I've just turned over the werewolf puppy. So the werewolf puppy is a card with a special ability. It has the ability to turn over all other creatures, that's the yellow ones, in the oncoming horde. As you guys can no doubt see, this is also a creature. So it's going to turn this over so that it attacks me. Oh, and it gets better and better because the alpha werewolf actually gains +1 for every other creature in the oncoming horde. So it's at 6 instead of 5. My second enemy is a mummy, which is a level 3. Thankfully, that's all it is. Okay, so I've got to find 2, 3, and 6, which fortunately I can just about do. So I'm going to finish off the cute little werewolf puppy. Everyone says the werewolf puppy is cute. I'm going to finish that off with a handgun. Bang. Secondly, I'm going to use the pen on the mummy. Stab it in the eye with the pen, and down goes the mummy. And finally, now you'll notice that I actually get to skip past the robot because only the creature is face up. So I get to skip past it. But the creature is still at level 6. Killing the werewolf puppy didn't make that stop. But together, the katana and the clothes, boots, and motorcycle will actually sort that out for me. So I have managed to once again survive, just barely. I've got 2 creatures in a row now, and then an alien left. I think the time has come to play my site-to-site teleporter. So this has 0 attack, but what it does is it lets me draw these first 3 cards, look at them, and then rearrange them in any order I like. Oh my goodness. So I have a 5, a 1, and a 7. I'm going to put the 7 at the bottom, and the 1 at the top, and the 5 second. And then I get to put them back on top of the deck. Not that it helps me very much, because I am about to draw 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. Obviously, I already know what these are, because I just looked at them. Again, if you're in another game, then obviously you wouldn't be able to see them first. How's everyone doing? Everyone following okay? Everyone able to see all right? Any questions? I apologize for the poor camera quality. It's my phone. Camera on the phone looks fantastic, and I'm I'm actually going to blame the internet for this one rather than... Okay. So my 3 equipment cards that I just drew, one of them is actually a 0, which is totally useless in a single-player game. So I'm going to make the decision that I'm actually discarding that and drawing a new one instead. So I've drawn the Taser, which will stun any creature that it doesn't destroy. That's a level 2. I've drawn the Sword, and as I said, indeed, the Sword is a 2, and the Pen was mightier. And finally, I've drawn from the Kickstarter Expansion Deck, I've drawn the Holy Hand Grenade, which has a special ability. It is able to destroy any creature automatically. So I'm going to hang on to that for a minute for when I come across something nasty. It's also a level 3 card. Okay, so I have to fight at least one. And I'll be totally honest, I think I'm in a bit of trouble here. So I'm actually going to take the risk and fight all of them because I have the 3 Laws card, which can stun all the robots, and almost everything that I'm facing right now is a robot. Oh, goodness. Okay, Mechanical Dinosaur. I have the Ancient Robot. I have a Micro Alien. I have a Giant Eyeball. I have a Catapult Droid, which adds the next monster to its attack power, but that monster is killed. Now, you might remember that I saw the Catapult Droid when it was face up. So, for this turn, the Catapult Droid adds the Black Widower to its firepower, making it a 12. That's an ouch. You know, that hurts. However, I'm very lucky. I have the 3 Laws card. So the 3 Laws card I'm going to play now, which stuns all of these enemies. And because of the Catapult Droid, it tries to catapult it into me, but fails. And the Black Widower, the level 7 that was at the top there, is destroyed in the process. So I got a free destruction off my 0 card, as well as disabling all of the blue, all of the robots and cyborgs for this turn. Right. Next, I use the orbital laser pointer to destroy the micro alien. That goes there and that goes there. And I use the sword to defeat the giant eyeball. Unfortunately, this is only a stopgap. I am far from guaranteed that I'm in a good situation, because all I have left now are the Taser, which is a 2 with a stun, and the Holy Hand Grenade, which is a 3, which destroys creatures instantly. I've got here an 8, a 4, and a 5 face up. Now, I don't have to fight them this turn. It's now my next turn. So I'm going to be a little bit clever, I hope. And I'm going to draw 2 more cards only. Now, you may remember what I said before about how you do not have to fight if there are only 5 cards. So that's what I'm hoping to take advantage of. I now have a Segway, which is a level 3, that also has an Awe special ability. If I choose not to use it as an attack, I can ignore the first creature in the oncoming horde for this turn. Secondly, I have an Assault Rifle, which is a solid level 4 with no special abilities. What am I going to do? Okay, I think that I am going to fight 3 enemies. So these first 3 robots here, I'm going to give them a fight. And cross my fingers. Okay, so I start with the Segway, which lets me avoid this first creature in the oncoming horde. Now, if I actually defeated the mechanical dinosaur and moved on and used the Segway, it would actually let me avoid the ancient robot. So it's the first remaining creature in the oncoming horde. But that's not killed. I'm just ignoring it. Next, I play the Assault Rifle. Oh, sorry, my hand's off. Assault Rifle, which is a 4, which defeats the ancient robot. That's fortunate. And then finally, the Catapult Droid turns over the next creature, which is a butterfly with a bomb. And I'm going to use the same strategy as I used last time, because it seemed to work well then. I'm going to stun it using my taser, which is going to kill the butterfly with the bomb and remove me from danger. So far, so good. I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I am 14 monsters, I should say, into this deck. I've got something that I'm sort of barely avoiding dying to, and something else that I'm barely avoiding dying to. Now, there is actually a rule that when something goes all around the table once, it can then be returned to the deck if all of the players want it to be. This has actually been all the way around the table twice, and both of them are very, very annoying. So what I'm thinking I might do is I might actually shuffle both of these back into the monsters deck. Otherwise, I'm in some serious trouble. The mechanical dinosaur, I should say. It's definitely not Mechagodzilla, just in case anyone's wondering. The mechanical dinosaur is the second most powerful. Sorry, trying to do two things at once, and now I can't shuffle. Is the second most powerful robot in the entire deck. So it's pretty nasty. Now it's been pushed back towards the end of it. So I am once again going to draw my maximum, which is 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. I hope I said the second most powerful robot just then. I meant the second most powerful robot. 1, 2, 3. Right. Let's have a look at what I've got. Aha. Okay. First of all, I have the single most powerful card in the core deck. For the equipment, that is the Unlicensed Particle Accelerator. It is a 9. It is the only 9 in the core deck. Next, I've got 2 from the Kickstarter Expansions deck. The first is the Medic. This is fantastic. Once you're injured, it actually restores you to health. So I might well be using this later. And finally, I've got the level 4 rocket-propelled roller skates with no special abilities. But it's another solid level 4. So I think I'm going to attempt to fight 2 of them. So first I have a skeleton warrior, level 2. And second, I have a zombie hand, level 1. Of course I do. Oh dear. Okay, so although I have a 3, I'm not allowed to spend a single 3 across 2 cards. I have to spend 1 card on this one and 1 card on this one. Oh dear, which is a problem. It means I'm going to be wasting a lot of ordnance. That's very, very annoying. But it happens in this game. So I'm going to use the Holy Hand Grenade and the rocket-propelled roller skates and overkill those 2 quite heavily. And cross my fingers that I don't regret this later. Of course, I had another move. I could have chosen not to fight and deliberately taken damage and then played my medic, but I might want that later. I don't want to take that risk. Okay, so next I'm going to take 3. 1, 2, 3. And again, you might notice there's a... Oh, you might not notice because you can't see it. But there's a Kickstarter Expansions alien down here. I once again get to take 3 of the equipment cards. And I have my first unstable card this game. It's the Lit Dynamite, which is level 5, but it's unstable. So if I don't play it this turn, I take damage. I have the Arcing Death Ray. And the Arcing Death Ray is able to deal 3 damage and 3 damage and 3 damage down the line until it does not kill something. And finally, I have the level 4 hobby drone with assault rifle, which can also scout. Now, scout lets me look at all of these cards and then put them back. If you're in a multiplayer game, you pick them up and look at them yourself. So I'm going to choose to fight 3 enemies in this case. First, I have an alien infiltrator. Second, I have an alien attack pet. Now that has a special ability, which turns over the first creature. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to fight that as well. Finally, I have the crying alien baby, which turns over all of the other aliens, which has revealed the alien Ghostbuster, which is a Ghostbuster that traps humans, obviously, from the Kickstarter Expansion Deck. So, I am going to be in a little bit of trouble here. This is not super easy. However, I am not going to die yet. So, first I'm going to play the Arcing Death Ray. Now that's going to deal 3 damage, 3 damage, 3 damage, and 3 damage, but not kill the sandworm. So I've managed to take down 3 of them and do 3 damage to the sandworm. I've got to get 3 more in order to finish it off. And in order to do that, I'm going to use the lit dynamite, which I have to use this turn anyway. Slight overkill, but it does mean that I don't take damage. Now, I could have used the lit dynamite and the medic to take down the alien Ghostbuster, but I chose not to do that. So I've only got 1 card that can now beat the alien Ghostbuster, and that is the unlicensed particle accelerator, the level 9 that I said was one of the most powerful cards in the game. However, it's better than using up my medic, because otherwise I'm going to regret that. So far so good. I'm not yet dead. I now have a clear table. I've managed to clear the entire table, and I've still got 2 cards left. That's the hobby drone with assault rifle, which is level 4, and I've got the level 1 medic, which also heals me if I get damaged. For now, my character is still totally healthy. I've not taken any hits at all, but I don't expect that to last for for too much longer. Any questions from anyone? Everyone happy that they understand what's going on? While people potentially type, I will just deal out the next 3 cards. It's 2 undead and a robot. Okay. What do I play to? In this case, I'm going to attempt to play to all of them. I have occasionally at conventions to shorten the game down. I have played to a limited, like about half the deck. But I'm going to attempt to defeat all of them because I'm, cocky. Usually when you're playing with a group, you would still try to fight all of them, because you find out if you don't manage to defeat them all as a team, then actually you lose and the aliens win and they succeed in their invasion. So you have a reason that you need to work hard. Now, I've been incredibly lucky on this draw. I've drawn the rocket propelled grenade, which is a 6 with no special abilities. I've drawn the second Martian pants. Now, there are 2 Martian pants, and that means that I can actually reclaim my unlicensed particle accelerator if I want to. And finally, I have drawn the giant sword. I'm actually going to do nothing this turn and draw 2 more cards. Right, they're both creatures, 1, 2. But the reason I'm drawing 2 more cards is I want to draw 2 more equipment. So let's see what I get. Oh dear. Not so brilliant. I have genuinely a very powerful card, although it might not look it. It's the Parallel Dimension Duplication Device. It is a level 1, but it also has the ability that it can become a copy of any card that I'm playing at the same time. That's pretty powerful. And I have a second sword. There are 2 swords in this deck. So it's another level 2 with no special abilities. Now I'm a bit torn. I'm not sure whether I should play the Martian Pants and reclaim my unlicensed particle accelerator. However, there is one other thing that I can do. There are no limit to how many cards you can hold in your hand. Obviously, in a multiplayer game, if you're not killing enemies, then you're not making any progress towards winning. So killing enemies does become rather important. And I am going to... Oop, can't get that. Sorry, just trying to set up my hand so I can see what everything is. It's slightly off camera still, sorry about that. I'm actually going to draw 3 more cards. And that means that I have to fight these first 3, but it also means that I get yet 3 more equipment. Now, there is a reason that I'm doing this. I'm making an attempt to get certain cards which will make my life slightly easier. And I've partially succeeded in that. So, first I've got Occam's Razor. Occam's Razor is part of the core deck. It's a 0, which automatically destroys all of the creatures in the oncoming horde. So very much like the bacteria. It's quite a powerful card. Secondly, I've got the Plasma Pistol, which is part of the Robots and Cyborgs deck. It's a 5, but it gets +1 against aliens and creatures. And finally, I have the Sniper Rifle. Now, the Sniper Rifle, hand location, is an interrupt card. That means that when you're playing in a multiplayer game, you're able to actually play that during someone else's turn. Now, the actual interrupt isn't terribly useful for me in this particular game, but in other games, it can be really, really useful when someone's just about finished off a creature, and then you can just play it and take it away from them. So I have to fight 3. But I've actually got quite a good set of cards down now, and if I run into real problems, then I do have the Martian Pants to retrieve the unlicensed particle accelerator. So I'm going to make a choice that I'm actually going to fight 5. So I have a Mummy, which is level 3. I have a Replication Bot, which makes the next robot in the oncoming horde into a Replication Bot as well. There aren't any other robots I'm going to be turning face up, so that's not too helpful. I've got a giant eyeball, and I've got an ogre. So I've actually come across some of the weakest monsters in the entire game. 1 second while I figure out the best way to deal with these without wasting too much overkill. Okay. Right. First, I play the Hobby Drone with Assault Rifle, which easily takes out the Mummy. Secondly, I take out the Replication Bot with the Sniper Rifle. I've then got the Sword, which will take care of the Shambling Zombie. Right. I'm going to play Occam's Razor to take out the Giant Eyeball and the Ogre, because I actually made a mistake there. I should have really played the Martian Pants first, but I can now play the Martian Pants in order to retrieve Occam's Razor. So I'm now exchanging the Martian Pants for Occam's Razor to have that back again. I think I'm going to come across some more creatures at some stage, and I want to be ready when I do. I should really have played it and got the 9, but I suppose then I would have had much more overkill on this turn. So I suppose it's not that bad. I'm going to draw 2 this turn. That's 1 alien and 1 robot. Lots of aliens and robots down right now. Oh, I have a 9. That is the Banana Peel, which is extremely effective, but only if it's funny. And I have the Redacted, which comes from the Robots and Cyborgs deck. I should say the Banana Peel, you may tell by how unserious it is, actually comes from the Kickstarter Expansions deck. In general, that deck is a lot less serious than the... No, I mean, that's really saying something, because the main deck isn't particularly serious. So, I now have 5 cards down on the table, and I'm going to continue to attempt to defend the Earth. Ugh. All right. I'm now going to fight against 3 enemies. First, there is the platypus. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Okay, I've just turned over the other kind of man in black. Now, this is one of the nastiest cards in the entire monster deck, which actually makes me lose all of my equipment. All of my equipment are grabbed by the other kind of man in black and shuffled back into the deck. I then draw 1 piece of equipment and my turn ends. Oops. Oh, that wasn't a very good shuffle. Sorry. Try that again. That was a bit of a blow. This card, whenever it comes up, is a complete pain in the arse. I hope I can say that on live. Yeah, it's a very, very nasty card, which just bad luck that it came up, to be honest. However, I shall survive, and hopefully Earth will as well. All right, so I draw 1 card, and it's the end of my turn. Ah! Well, that could have been worse. What I've drawn is the Flamethrower. Now, the Flamethrower is a level 4, but it has a special ability as well, in that it attacks everything. Excuse me. It attacks everything that is face up. Right, it's now my turn again, because my turn actually ends when the other kind of man in black turns over and steals all my equipment. So I'm actually going to draw 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, right. So I've drawn the Electro Lance, which is from the Robots and Cyborgs deck, and it has a +2 against robots. So against a normal, well, anything else, it's a 7, but against robots, it's 9. I've drawn the second orbital laser pointer, which is fantastic. And I've drawn the Sunrise. Sunrise is very much like Occam's Razor and Bacteria, but it works for undead instead of the others. So this is actually pretty ideal. I have to fight 3. I'm actually going to attack. Oh, you see, if this turns over and it's under 4, and that turns over and it's under 4, so it starts becoming difficult. I think I'm going to attack 1 more. Which is the crying alien baby. So that turns over the other alien. Oh, okay. I'm all right. So I play the Flamethrower, which does 4 damage to everything. So the platypus, 2 damage. It's clearly an alien. Just look at it. Is killed. The other kind of man in black is killed. That only its effect only operates once when you turn it over for the first time. The same applies to all of the effects, actually. The returning cyborg is a 5, so it takes 4 damage but is not destroyed. The crying alien baby is a 1, so it is destroyed. The alien scout is a 4, so it is destroyed. Wow, I'm doing a lot better than I expected. Finally, I've got the orbital laser pointer, which is a 1. That'll finish off the returning cyborg for me. So say goodbye to the returning cyborg, which is now dead and won't be coming back. I hope. Okay, so I've got 3 cards of monsters, which is a robot, an undead, and a creature. I have a Sunrise card, which will kill all undead in the oncoming horde. And I have an Electro Lance card, which will be a 7 or a 9 against robots. I'm going to draw 2 new cards for now. Right. First of all, I have the Mind Control Collar. Now, this card, when you play it, it makes one enemy attack the next enemy. And whichever one is bigger kills the other, takes the damage of it as if it had been attacked, and then will attack you. So I'm going to have to finish it off. Secondly, I have one of the most useful cards in the game, the Nuke. It deals 7 damage to all enemies in the oncoming horde. Now, I don't really have enough enemies in the oncoming horde for it to be worth playing the Nuke right now, so I'm going to fight 2. The first is a second returning cyborg. Hey, what do you know? It did come back. The second is a shambling zombie. So I'm going to play the mind control collar on the returning cyborg, which is going to make it attack the shambling zombie. Ouch. And the returning cyborg now only has 3 left. However, the only thing that I've got to beat it with, unfortunately, is my trusty Electro Lance, which means that I've got to spend that in order to defeat the returning cyborg. That's unfortunate. The thing is that there are more enemies, or at least more numbers in the enemies, than there are in the equipment. There are roughly the same number of equipment as enemies. So doing lots and lots of overkill is a very bad idea. I will end up regretting that if I keep doing it. Next, I'm going to draw 2 cards. So I have drawn the Logical Paradox, which is from the Robots deck. And it's actually very much like the Sunrise, the Occam's Razor, and the Bacteria, in that it kills all of the robots in the oncoming horde. Secondly, I've drawn the Man in Black. The Man in Black either does 3 damage, or it has the special ability that I can shuffle all of my cards, apart from this one, back into the equipment deck and redraw. Now, I'm not going to do that right now because I think that actually my hand is pretty darn good. However, what I will do is I will pass this turn and not fight anything. I want to get as many enemies as possible as I can into the oncoming horde for when I use my nuke. So I'm going to draw 3 more this turn. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So let's have a look. Ooh, I have drawn another number 9 from the Kickstarter Expansion Deck. I have drawn the Ladder. It's one of the most dangerous objects in the universe. It's a 9. I have Bad Datum. What this does is from the Robots and Cyborgs deck. It takes the first robot in the oncoming horde and adds it to my hand as if it was a piece of equipment, which has the unstable property. So like the lit dynamite, I have to play it that turn. Finally, I have the Clothes, Boots, and Motorcycle. There are 2 of those in the Robots and Cyborgs deck, and that's the second one there. So, what am I going to do? I think I'm going to fight 2. It's a Yeti, which is having a snowball fight. And it's an iRobot. Okay. I'm going to... Now, you see, I've run into a problem because I don't really have 4 very easily. Don't want to waste too much. So I'm going to use the Bad Datum to draw the iRobot. It's a bit of a waste, but still. Oh, no, I'm really sorry. I actually had to fight 3. I'm going to have to take back that move. I actually have to fight 3 because I have 8 down, and you have to fight everything in excess of 5. I very nearly cheated there. Sorry about that. However, it actually doesn't change my strategy. So I'm going to play the Bad Datum on the iRobot, which I add to my hand as a piece of equipment. I'm going to play the iRobot and the Clothes, Boots, and Motorcycle on the Yeti, which is a 5 damage to kill a level 4. I've then got Frankenstein's Monster, which is the strongest of the undead. It's a level 8. And I'm going to play the ladder on Frankenstein's monster. I like to imagine that we're forcing Frankenstein's monster to climb the ladder, and it's going to injure itself. So Frankenstein's monster has been defeated by a ladder. Suppose it would work if I said Dalek there as well, wouldn't it? Next, I'm going to draw 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I have drawn a toaster, which allows me to stun an enemy or kill it if it's a 1. I've drawn unstable explosives, which are another unstable card, but very powerful one with 7 damage. And finally, I've got the attack helicopter, which is an 8, but with a -1 against aliens, because they tend to take down helicopters a bit too easily. So I think I'm going to fight 3 on this occasion. Alien Cultist. It's a level 2 with no special abilities. I've got the 2-headed, half-invisible monster. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. And finally, I've got the werewolf. Now, the werewolf is more powerful than usual because, like the alpha werewolf, it gets +1. +1 for every creature in the oncoming horde. There are 2 extras, so it's on a 6. So I have a 2/6/6 to beat. That's no problem for me, as you know, because I've drawn some good cards lately. So I have the Man in Black, which is a 3, in order to defeat the alien cultist. I have a unstable explosives to defeat the 2-headed half-invisible monster. And if you look at the image there, hopefully you can see there is a crouching tiger and an invisible dragon. Puns. Is that a pun? No, it's probably just a bad joke. And then I have the attack helicopter, which is a level 8, in order to beat the level 6 werewolf. So far, so good. I'm actually quite surprised I'm doing as well as this. Okay. I'm now going to draw 3 again, because I'm remembering all the time I've still got the nuke, and that one's now not going to get taken away from me because the other kind of Man in Black is the only, is the only card in the deck which can do that. Okay, so what I've drawn is I've drawn the plasma pistol, which is a level 5 with a +1 against aliens and creatures. I've drawn the ultraviolet light, which is a special card. It can only deal damage to undead. And finally, I've drawn the grandmother's silver revolver, which has a +2 against creatures. That's actually one of the largest bonuses that any item has against an individual type. So I think I'm in a good enough position that I can probably fight 3 of them. I have a reanimated rat. I have a soldier with a jetpack, alien soldier with a jetpack. And I have a troll. Oh dear, that's nasty. Okay, I've got it though. I've got it. Don't worry, folks. The ultraviolet light, which can only be used on undead, is perfect for taking down the reanimated rat. Next, I've got the plasma pistol, which is a +1 against aliens, so it's a 6. And then I've got the toaster, which will finish off the alien soldier with a jetpack, total 7. Finally, I've got grandmother's silver revolver. Grandmother's silver revolver, which is +2 against creatures, which means that the troll at level 3 is hit by level 4 attack. So far, so good. Okay, and I'm back to 5 again. Whew. Just a welcome to the new guys who've just joined, and if you're just joining us now, things are going relatively well so far. We haven't died yet, but the night is young. I've got through probably half of the deck, maybe a little more. So we're getting there. And I'm just going to speed up the speed of play a little bit now to get through it a bit faster, because we've been an hour already. So I'm drawing 3. And I'm drawing 3, which is Medic, Occam's Razor, and a Stolen Ray Gun. The Medic restores me to health if I take damage. Occam's Razor destroys all creatures automatically. And the Stolen Ray Gun does +2 damage against aliens and is a level 6. It's nice and powerful. So I am going to do something which is a bit odd now. I'm going to fight all of them. The Elder Vampire, which removes all creatures from the oncoming horde and adds it to its own power. There are no creatures in the oncoming horde. I have been horrendously lucky. I have the Illuminati. Okay, now the Illuminati actually takes all of these cards away, shuffles everything back into the deck apart from itself, which means I'm going to be less lucky next time the Elder Vampire shows up. Because now there may well be creatures with it in order to boost its power. And that can get very powerful if it's not dealt with swiftly. So I'm going to have to shuffle these back in, and then the Illuminati is going to make me draw 7 more cards, back to 5 and 3. So the landscape has changed a little bit. So I am still going to fight all of them. Ghost, Giant Squid, Godzilla, Catapult Droid. He's back. Lich. Ooh, okay. Musical Aliens and the Zombie Hand. So the Catapult Droid adds the Lich's 6. Oh my goodness, that's amazingly lucky. Adds the Lich's 6 to his attack. And I am going to do nothing. I am just going to take the hit deliberately. That means the Lich, which normally is very hard to kill, dies instantly. Because it has a magic shield. It would normally be impossible to defeat at this turn. But the Catapult Droid has catapulted it at me, and it has therefore died. Which is incredibly lucky. However, our stalwart hero, Helena the Renegade Cyborg, is now damaged. If you want a slightly closer look at the damaged cyborg. So, I'm now going to draw 3 new cards. 1, 2, 3, which is the maximum I can draw. I'm then going to draw 1, 2, 3. I've redrawn the Banana Peel and the Redacted. I've also drawn the Alarm, which again, similar to the previous card, has no use in a 1-player game, so I'm going to discard it and draw a new one. And I'm drawing the second Alarm. Of course I have. Right, now I have drawn the Excalibur, which is an unstable card. That means I have to play it this turn. Right. Now, some of you might remember me mentioning that I'm a little bit worried about the fact that I've been wasting a lot of cards. So I'm going to take some measures to resolve that. First, I'm going to play my Medic card, which is going to heal Helena back to health. I'm then going to play Excalibur. I'm going to fight all of them. So I've got an alien colonist, I've got the copyright lawyers back, and I've got the Elder Vampire. Oh, sorry, I'm sorry, the Young Vampire, which eats the giant squid and becomes stronger. So that's now a 10. I'm going to play the Excalibur on the Illuminati, which is going to kill them. And then I am going to end my turn. So once again, oh, I'm sorry, I just knocked the camera. I apologize. Once again, I'm going to take a hit. I'm taking that hit deliberately. It's a bit of a risk, but I want my nuke to have the maximum level of effect, and there is one more medic in the deck. So I'm going to draw 3 new cards. I've drawn another plasma pistol. I've drawn the credit card with no limit, and I've drawn the life form scanner. 1, 2, and I've actually got a third row now of enemies. So I now have 11 enemies on the table, 11 monsters that I'm going to have to fight. So the first thing I'm going to play is I'm going to play the life form scanner. Now this one is from the Robots deck, and it has a special ability, and I'm using the special ability, not the attack. And it allows me to choose an enemy from the oncoming horde and place it at the end of at the start of the oncoming horde. So it's right at the front, in front of the ghost. So I'm going to choose what I'm going to have next, which is, let's have a think. Yes, I know what I'm going to choose. I'm going to choose that Elder Vampire that we saw earlier, because she's going to face up, which means her ability is not going to activate because she doesn't get turned over. Oh, and really I ought to shuffle these up just to be scrupulously fair. Okay, so I have now 12 cards on the deck. And it is at this point that I am going to say I will fight all of them. I'm actually going to this time. Okay, so we have a supercomputer in potato form. We have a zombie horde, which gets +1 for each undead. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a 9. Ouch. And we have a mothership. Okay, so obviously my first play is the nuke. That deals 7 damage to everything. That is all of these dead. Musical aliens, goodbye. Zombie hand, bloom. Alien colonist, copyright lawyers. The young vampire survives. The supercomputer dies. The zombie horde survives with 2 health left. And so does the mothership. So Godzilla has 1 health. The zombie... Oh, no, it's that way. Godzilla has 1 health. The young vampire, which is enhanced, has 3 health. The zombie horde has 2 health, and the mothership has 2 health. What am I going to do? Well, I've dealt with all of the powerful undead now, so I think I'm going to play the Sunrise, even though it's a little bit of a waste, because it will get rid of everything there. I've then got a 1 and a 2, basically, after the nuke has done its work, and massive amounts of overkill. Oh, well, I suppose I did just kill 11. I'll take the risk that I'm overkilling them. I don't have any choice anyway. Yeah. So I'm going to play these 2, which is going to kill those 2. And the deck is clear once again. Whew. Well, I'm getting there. This one's tricky. I'm having to play this very well, and I'm getting rather lucky as well. 1, 2, 3 is the maximum allowed to draw in 1 turn. 1, 2, 3 pieces of equipment. I have a monster homing beacon, which makes it the turn of a player of your choice. It's also a 1, so I'm actually going to have to keep this one. I have a machine gun, which is -1 against undead, but +1 against creatures. And I have an armored assault vehicle, which is +1 against undead and creatures, but -1 against aliens. Yes, heavy armor does not work very well against aliens. So unsurprisingly, probably, I'm not going to fight this turn. I'm going to draw 2 more cards. 1, 2. And I've drawn the spear gun, which is level 3 from the Robots deck. And I've drawn the second medic, which is good. Let me just move these over a bit, because I'm about to draw 3 more cards. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm actually setting myself up for a nice run with the logical paradox, which you may remember I drew earlier, which destroys all the robots. So there are a nice load of robots down, and I'm ready to take them out. So next, I am going to say that I am fighting everything. Kraken. It's a 9. Mechanical dinosaur. He's back. Unionized manufacturing robots. Replication bot. Miscellaneous hologram. Unionized manufacturing robots. Zombie dog and brain-driven cyborg. So the replication bot this time does activate, and the unionized manufacturing robots become a 3 instead of a 2. However, the logical paradox is going to take care of that quite nicely. And there go most of the really powerful robots in the game. Now, how am I going to deal with the miscellaneous hologram? So it's a 0 that can't touch anything or be touched by anything. And unfortunately, I believe I've used all of the cards which I can use in order to defeat it. So I'm going to play my medic card and turn my Renegade Cyborg face up. The Kraken I'm going to defeat with a banana peel somehow. So the level 9 banana peel defeats the Kraken. I have to spend something to fight the hologram, even though I can't destroy it. So I'm going to use the credit card with no limit. A 0 on a 0. I don't want to use this because it forces me to discard 2 equipment out of the top 3 in the deck. He's not dead, but he's not going to damage me either. And finally, I have the perfect thing for the zombie dog. I have a spear gun, which is also a level 3. So there goes the zombie dog. Right, we're getting low on the deck now. Getting there. So I'm going to draw 3. 1, 2, 3. And also 3 of these. Bow and arrow. I have another man in black. And I have a giant sword, which in fairness earns its name. That is a pretty giant sword, wouldn't you say? Okay. What am I doing now? I am going to draw 3 more cards, I think. 1, 2, 3. Obviously, I get the equipment as well. I have a level 9, the beer. Hold it for me. I got this. I have a bow and arrow from the Robots deck. And I have a 50 caliber sniper rifle, which is a big, strong sniper rifle, 7, which is also an interrupt, just like the smaller sniper rifle. Okay, so how am I going to do this? I am going to fight all of them. I may as well. I have the reanimated Harris Pilton, level 1. The Giant, a level 9 robot. android, which gives all robots +1, so it's a level 10 android, the giant now. I have the copyrighted monster, level 8. I have the brain-driven cyborg, which is +1 as well, so it's a 7. And I have the alien cultist, which is a 2. So I'm going to spend my monster homing beacon to keep the miscellaneous hologram off my back for the time being. That counts as playing a piece of equipment against it, which does count as killing it. What else am I going to do? Let's have a think. I'm going to play my taser on the reanimated Harris Pilton. That's going to kill her quite convincingly. I've then got a 9 to defeat, but fortunately I have the beer. And the beer is going to take that out for me. I have an android, which is at level 4. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I need 1 extra to defeat the giant because of the android. Forgot about that. I might not use the beer then. I think I might use a rocket-propelled grenade and a bow and arrow together in order to make 10, 6 and 4 to defeat the giant. I promise I'm not deliberately cheating. Promise. I hope you all believe. I've got a level 4 bow and arrow still to defeat the android. Oops, that went the wrong way. The copyrighted monster, I will. This one I will take down with the beer. The brain-driven cyborg will be very easily taken down by the 50 caliber sniper rifle. And finally, the level 2 alien cultist, I will take down with the man in black. Seems appropriate somehow. Okay. And again, we have a clear deck with the exception of the miscellaneous hologram. He's nasty, this one. He's part of the Kickstarter Expansion Deck. There are only a couple ways you can beat him, really. And I think I've already used all the cards that would let me. So, that's a problem. Okay, I drew Carpet Bombing, which is a 7, which deals 7 damage to everything. I drew Brick, and I drew the Desert Eagle, which has a -1 penalty for every monster after the first. So, I will not fight this turn. I will draw the 3 more of the 4 cards remaining. I'm very nearly at the end of the deck now. Unfortunately, it's looking like I'm going to lose. Oh, and I draw 3 equipment, of course. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I drew an armored assault vehicle, a teleport backpack, and night vision goggles. So I'm going to fight everything. I've still got the miscellaneous hologram face up. I've got another android, which makes the Burfy into a level 2. I've got King Kong. I've got the young werewolf. I've got a were-rabbit. And I've got a butterfly with a bomb. Now, these are actually the very last creatures, so I'm going to play Occam's Razor, which I've been hanging on to for a little while. It destroys all creatures in the oncoming horde, and that makes my life a little bit easier. Those are all gone. Next, I've got the miscellaneous hologram, which really I do have to do something about. I will use the night vision goggles on it to slow it down for this turn. I need to do 4 damage to the android, which I do with a stunning weapon, the arc gun. It kills it, but equally it would stun it if it did not. And the Buffy is now at level 2, thanks to the enhancement, which really means the teleport backpack, which allows you to skip the rest of your turn if you're in a multiplayer game, is perfect for taking down that Buffy. Right, there's 1 enemy left, It's the walking machine, which is a level 7. And I've got the parallel dimension duplication device, which I lost earlier, back finally. So I have a bit of a problem here, folks. I have nothing that can defeat the miscellaneous hologram. So I'm going to play the carpet bombing, which is going to deal 7 damage to the walking machine and destroy it. However, I can't actually win because the miscellaneous hologram cannot be defeated by physical weapons. So I have remaining a brick, a giant sword, a desert eagle, an armored assault vehicle, a machine gun, an armored assault vehicle, redacted, and a parallel dimension duplication device. I think for the purposes of the live cast, we will claim that the redacted, whatever it is, it's redacted. I have no idea what it is. The redacted actually is a photon cannon, which can destroy the miscellaneous hologram, and we can have a happy ending for Earth. So, Helena, the renegade cyborg, went through a lot, nearly died twice, but she emerged a hero and the champion of Earth. We've successfully managed to defend the Earth. I hope that I've showed off all of the cards to you that you wanted to see. And there we go. That's everything. We're all done. So, does anyone have any questions before I head off? Thank you, Jordan. I'm pleased that I managed to do that. That was that's awesome. That's absolutely fantastic. All right. Well, I'd like to thank everyone for watching. I'd like to thank Jordan for joining the Kickstarter, and I hope you enjoyed the live cast. And you can actually, if there's anyone who you think might be interested in the game, you can actually send out a link to this live cast after I shut it down. It'll be recorded, and Kickstarter will kick it out as a link for us. So if you'd like to have a look at it, or if you'd like to show a friend, then feel free to do so. We're always pleased to welcome more people into this game. Thank you very much for joining me in my defense of the Earth. I'm proud to say that I have repelled the alien invasion. Have a lovely evening, and I hope to see you around on the Kickstarter. Bye.